Hey guys, my name is Rheannon Simmonds and I'm the Lead Conveyancer here at Enterprise Legal. We've had a bit of a surge recently. We're seeing a lot more related party transfers come up, so I thought I would jump on here today to explain exactly what's involved. It's pretty self-explanatory, but a related party transfer is the transfer of property between two parties that are related. There's a lot of different instances where it's applicable, but the most common ones we see are transfer between two family members that are related or transfer between spouses. It refers to either the transfer of the entire property, or it could also be a portion of the property. So for example, if I wanted to transfer half my property to my sister, I would do so as a related party transfer. The process itself is not as simple or easy as it may sound, and it's unfortunately not something you can just agree to over a Sunday roast or a handshake. It is very similar to normal transactions, but there's also some ways it differentiates, which I will explain further. So first and foremost, we can't act for both parties at Enterprise Legal, which is a common assumption that we can, especially for related party transfers. People just assume that, we can just act for both, it'll be easier, but that's not the case. The reason for this is to avoid a conflict of interest. If we're acting for both parties, the question really is whose best interests are we acting for? So to avoid any doubt, we simply don't act for both. We encourage the other party to obtain their own legal independent advice, or they may choose to self-act. But again, there's really that question in that instance as to whether we will need to assist, which we obviously cannot. So we just set really clear boundaries from the outset when dealing with clients and in the initial negotiation of it. So a contract of sale is still generally required for related party transfer. This is for many different reasons. Some of those might be a requirement of your incoming bank, maybe for accounting and taxation purposes, your accountant might require it. You could be having a refinance situation, where again, it may be a requirement of your bank, but the main reason is a contract of sale is your best chances of having protection in the transaction. And we obviously hope and assume that it will be a smooth sailing, amicable transaction, but if something were to go wrong and the contract is in place, you may be able to rely on certain terms of that contract for protection, and we can provide you with advice in regards to that. So we can draft the contract on your behalf as well and be guided by you in regards to the agreed terms and purchase price of the contract. There are certain searches that we are required to do as part of a normal conveyancing transaction. These searches include things such as rates and water. So this is to ensure the appropriate adjustments are made at settlement. Other searches are often ordered to mitigate any potential risks that the other party cannot complete settlement, either practically or lawfully. For related party transfer, you may agree between yourselves not to require all the searches to be done, which is fine. We will take your instructions in that regard, but there are still certain searches that we are required to undertake. An example of those searches is a land tax clearance, a bankruptcy search of the other party, just to make sure they can't sell the property to you. But we will provide you with instructions on this during your matter and also the prices involved. So stamp duty is still payable on related party transfer, and to make sure that you pay the right amount and the Office of State Revenue isn't coming after you post-settlement, we also are required to undertake a market appraisal of the property, because you'll be required to pay the equivalent stamp duty payable on the higher amount of either the contract price or the market appraisal. So part of our service does include drafting a breakdown of all funds required at settlement for any transaction. So we will obtain the market appraisal on your behalf, determine what stamp duty you will be required to pay, and provide that information to you well ahead of settlement. So the areas I've highlighted today are just a few of your common examples of how the matters can differentiate when it's a related party transfer. There are still other things you can be aware of dependent on your particular circumstances. So feel free to give us a call or email us here at Enterprise Legal, and we'd be happy to help with any questions that you have.